Well, we're here today with a really special guest, and I'm going to have Dorie tell you a little bit about her. But
no,
I'm
you're going to tell about her. I already did all the talking. Your turn. You do it.
So we're looking at some emotional healing and talking about her life and how she came to this place of wanting to help and heal other people of similar situations that she walked through and emotional trauma that we've had in our life. I think that by listening to her story, you can gain a lot of wisdom and maybe some understanding and seek help for yourself if you need it. So we all need a little help. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Basically, she's a pattern-breaking energy therapist.
There you go.
If you don't know what that is, then you're going to need to listen to the show to hear what my good friend Kandy Graves has to say about that. And now Lori's good friend.
Yeah, you're going to like it, and you're going to like her. So, have a listen.
And it's not about sex, baby. Oh, sorry. That's a whole nother show.
You're listening to Fit and Hippie with Dori and Lori. The show is about the show that covers the show that gets into
exactly.
Here we are today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lori?
I'm good. We have a guest today.
Oh my gosh, this might be one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yeah, please introduce our guest.
Our guest
today.
Well, this lady is phenomenal in my mind, and I think she's helped a lot of people, so they would say the same thing. But I've known Kandy. Her name is Kandy Graves. She is a pattern-breaking energy therapist.
Cool.
And I've known Kandy since high school. We didn't actually really run with the same group, but we kind of, knew who each other were. And we later connected through church. And that's where our friendship actually grew, and our children are the same age, and so we did a lot of stuff together through just, hiking and doing events and doing fun things and stuff. And then she moved away, and we were in California at the time. She moved to Utah, and I didn't hear from her for 20 years, probably. We didn't speak for, maybe once in a while there'd be like a little bit of connection, but we really didn't talk very much.
Before
Facebook, yeah. This was even before MySpace.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a full 20 years. I think it was...
It was a while. Well, you moved,
at least 10.
At least, yeah, because we moved here in 93, and we still didn't connect a whole lot. We'd kind of chatted and stuff. So anyways, the last couple of years, she's been in my life, and I've been so grateful to have her back in my life. She's helped me a ton. She's helped my son. I just took a course of hers called 2020 Vision in 2020, and it was wonderful. Yeah, it really helped me nail down how to achieve goals by becoming very clear and having clear, dated...
Sort of like milestones.
Right.
So every time you sit down, you date it.
Yeah, it's a dated thing. Instead of saying, I want to write a book. It's like, okay, so I want to write a book. How many chapters are you going to write each month? Okay. Or how by this date can you do this or that? And so you build it, and you build this whole list of things, and so you just start checking them off.
It's very lasered.
And it really has helped. So anyways, so I just and also I'm joined the Utah Leading Ladies, and Kandy was a part of the reason that I did that, and now I'm meeting a bunch of wonderful entrepreneurial women.
It's awesome. We'll have some on our show too.
Yes, we will be having lots of them on this show. So anyways, that's my friend Kandy, and we're here to have her talk about whatever she wants, but I really want to talk about some of this therapy that she's doing because it's changed her life as well as many other people's lives.
Well, and I think talking about a little bit before the show how you got into this, I'd love to hear that, and what your life was about and why you stepped into this line of work.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, she shouldn't have introduced me because now I'm choking back some tears, and so that's not ever a good thing. Anyway, I will move forward.
Now, don't disassociate. It's okay to feel them.
Listen to Dr. Dorie. Okay, so I was born addicted to a drug addict mom, and you could pretty much just that's all I'd have to say. And
So what do you mean by that? Addicted?
so she was pain pill addicted.
Okay.
So, well, not just pain pills. So she came by it very honestly. She was in a really bad car accident in 1947. So, and she had severe burns from the, from the accident. They gave her little packets of powdered morphine. That's what they did to manage her pain.
Because morphine lasts 4 hours, and then you have to take more. It's like a quick,
Wow.
It works real fast, but then it fades real quick.
Yes, exactly.
Not long
So
term.
anyway, that was it. That was kind of the beginning. And she was 17.
Oh,
but
wow. So she was on drugs when you were born.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's
like
what you're
they
saying.
didn't know what to do with this baby that
Yeah. Wow.
cried and screamed and writhed for a month.
Because you were addicted.
Right.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So, but okay. So she comes from a long line of alcoholism, and my dad too. So I had this I don't know how to even articulate it. I just had this constant nagging kind of knowing going on. It's like kind of a program running underneath everything that I was totally aware of, yet I couldn't really define it. And this was from my earliest remembering. And what I now know today was that this story that I was living would need to be told. And now I know that, unquestionably. Yeah, so growing up in this atmosphere of she had pill bottles stashed in the craziest places.
Right, as drug addicts do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, I was always just thought, she's so wrapped up in those. But I never really paid a ton of attention to that. All I really cared about was I just desperately wanted her to be able to look me in the eye and see me.
Right.
And she could never do that.
Right, and the drugs were just your normal life. You didn't know anything different.
Absolutely had no contrast until moving forward then, and as you're a preteen or a teenager, you start venturing out and you're going into your friends' homes.
Right.
And I remember just watching as my friends would interact with their mothers, and I remember thinking, okay, there's something seriously wrong with what's going on at my house, right? And that was my beginning to understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that led you to, after this you left home.
Well, yeah, so I always had this desperate, and that's just the best word, this desperate desire to have this be different.
Yeah.
And to fix her, I guess, in a way. I don't know if I love that term, but I do think that was it. While I wanted her to see me, because literally, the lights are on, but nobody's home.
Wow.
That was that. And she never really looked at me. You know what I mean? And honestly, by the time I was 30 years old, I could count on one hand how many actual conversations I had with her.
That's amazing.
Like she just did not pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Just didn't.
Yeah.
So where was your dad in all of this?
Enabling.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Right.
Yeah, no, so my dad, I have a very tender spot for my dad. I think for a guy to be married 51 years to this mother of mine, but I also have a tender spot for him too, because I know what he went through, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But basically, so what happens is in our families of origin, we're cooked in the energy. So think about this. If you want to make soup, you get this pot of water boiling, and you add these hard root vegetables, right? So, carrots, turnips, potatoes, whatever.
Yeah.
And you put them in, and then you put them in the hot water, and then you throw in the seasonings, and the seasonings are to enhance the flavor of the vegetable, right? And the vegetable takes on the seasoning from the process of the heat and the environment, what's there. So to me, that's an absolute perfect analogy of why. And I don't know if you haven't noticed this in your life, but people will gravitate toward what's comfortable or familiar.
Of course, yeah.
And the reason for that is, and there's a very epigenetic, quantum physics explanation for that. And then there's this basic understanding that it's just familiar. It feels, it's like my husband and I came together and it was, the energy was intense. There was this intense spark, and it was, we interpreted that as attraction or love, when in actuality it was, we were cooked in similar soups.
Yeah.
And infused with similar seasonings.
Right.
Okay.
That is just like,
I love that.
blown,
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, so my dad's upbringing was there were 6 kids in his family of origin. The first one and the 5th one were born on August 7th. 5 years to the day apart. So 5 kids, 5 years, August 7th to August 7th, right?
Yeah.
So 5 years, five kids, 5 years, and then 14 years later, my aunt was born.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
There's the 6, right?
Okay.
But in those 5 kids, there were 2 girls and 3 boys. My dad was the 3rd of the 5, and his mother, my grandma, lived to be 102, and on her 99th birthday, at 90, I think we started celebrating every year. But on her 99th, I went to her house and I was visiting with her, and I think this was after the party, and I was headed back to Utah because this was back in California, and I met with her. I just wanted to visit with her before I left because you never knew at 99 if she was going to have a 100th birthday or whatever, and she ended up having 3 more, right? And remarkable lady. But anyway, this 99th birthday, here we were sitting in her house, and I don't know why she decided to, but I'm glad she did. But I had asked her lots of questions previous, like about my dad and just growing up and stuff. Because my dad died at 72, and so he had been gone quite a while when she turned 99.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we were just talking about that. And anyway, she said he had so much energy. She said, I did not know what to do with him. She said most of the time I would just leave the boys to have my husband deal with the boys, and I dealt with the girls. But she didn't go into the details of her husband, but he was a highly abusive alcoholic. I know that because of that aunt that was born 14 years later. She was very open with me on telling stories and different things that happened. And so anyway, Grandma says to me, and the tears just start rolling down her cheeks. She's like, I didn't know what to do with him. And she then confessed to me that she would lock him in the closet.
Oh my gosh.
For the entire day. Like, she could tell if it was going to be that kind of a day.
Oh my goodness.
And she just stuck him in the closet. And, she was obviously really distraught about it.
Well, and she also was living with an abusive husband, and
exactly.
wow,
you can only handle so much.
Yeah, so that was